morning, I'm Angelo Castro III.
I'm Angela and we're the Castros.
Happy Tuesday to everyone. Kaninang umaga umulan, no?
Oo,
Okay.
ay, actually mga alas 12 yun eh. Lakas ng ulan, at least in Metro Manila.
Metro Manila, oo.
Oo.
Pero pagdating ng morning, drizzling na lang at medyo maganda-ganda na yung weather. Nag-i-improve.
Yes.
Oh, daming balita ngayon aside from yung bagyo na supposedly parating this Thursday.
Nasa Philippine Air Responsibility,
Pero
ang
landfall.
landfall niya, hindi pa natin alam kung kailan, kung baka Friday,
Branch yan,
Thursday or Friday.
Manood ka
Pero
ng
mamaya, hingi tayo ng update para mas maganda, mas maayos yung update.
Madami tayong pag-uusapan kasi meron pa yung upcoming exciting US election.
Oo, matindi ang labanan.
At napakalaki po ang impact nitong election. Dapat kaya interested tayo dyan.
Tama.
Okay, we're serving you news in a countdown.
All that before your second cup of coffee. This is Brunch. Now to give us updates on the ground, we have Jovi Francisco of One News reporting to us live from Washington, D.C. Hi, good morning from the Philippines.
Good evening from Washington, D.C., Angelo and Angela.
Yun, kitang-kita naman kung nasaan si Jovi.
Oh, Jovi,
tingnan mo
nasaan
yung
ka ba?
background niya.
Ang ganda ng view mo. Ano yung nasa background mo, Jovi?
Alam niyo kung nanonood kayo ng Designated Survivor,
Of course.
nasa likod ko yan, di
Tsaka
ba?
House of Cards.
House of Cards.
Pero nandiyan pa siya.
Oo.
Ang
Pero
US
anyway,
Capitol, ayan. Kita siya. Actually, kita rin yung ibang monuments dito, kaya lang, mahirap mag-turn, baka mawala ang signal ko. Pero,
Totoo.
good evening from Washington, D.C.
Ayun.
Sasabihin ko lang na eksaktong 7 hours to go before buksan yung physical voting or yung mga polling precincts or polling sites sa buong Amerika. So dito sa Washington, D.C., alas 7 rin, yung pagbubukas. So kumbaga literal na isang tulog na lang.
Oo.
Boboto na sila.
Jovi, sinabi mo about yung physical voting kasi I understand, di ba? Meron yung early voting, yung may mail-in votes.
Yeah.
Okay, Jovi,
The mail-in votes, yon at saka yung early voting. Early voting saka yung mail-in votes ay 79 million na yung nag-avail yan as of yesterday afternoon, Diego.
Yeah.
So, parang the last time na ginawa nila yan, mga 150 million
That's right.
Americans yung nag-avail. So ngayon 79 million na siya. So I'm sure pila pa rin sa mga polling precincts na sa buong Estados Unidos starting tomorrow. Pero ang laki na nung number nung nagpatiuna na. Una na ako, boboto na ako, ayoko maghintay.
Pero Jovi, kamusta naman yung security dyan? Yung atmosphere, kumbaga, yung vibe, tensyonado ba yung mga tao dyan?
Okay, ikinukumpara ko parang mas laid back doon sa California kasi before ako lumipad papunta dito sa DC, ay binisita ko muna yung Filipino-American community doon. Tapos yung tinignan ko kung saan sila boboto. Parang pa doon, parang hindi masyadong maraming seguridad na nakapaligid. Ngayon dito, marami ka makikita na police at saka military na nasa paligid. Which is, Diego and Angela, understandable because of what happened. Diyan mismo sa building sa likod ko ang US Capitol, kung saan ay nagkaroon ng January 6, kung naalala nyo. Even days before the actual physical election, sinasabi na hindi natanggapin kung matatalo ang isa sa mga isa sa mga kandidato ay hindi daw nila tatanggapin at sila ay dinaya. So may possibility ng gulo. So naiintindihan natin kung maraming palibot-libot na mga vehicles ng security, which is good kasi it makes you feel safe or safer. Lalo na sa foreign
Pero,
city.
Jovi, may curfew ba dyan? Like, di ba kasi sa Philippines, meron yung liquor ban, may gun ban. Do you have the same restrictions the night or the eve of the elections?
Alam mo, mukhang wala. Siyempre, tinignan ko, nakita ko umiinom lahat dito sa bar.
Nasa bar, rooftop bar nga siya
Feeling ko, okay pa rin siya. Curfew wala kasi kagabi, pinag-live nila ako sa frontline. Madaling araw yon, pumunta ako ng National Mall medyo madilim, natakot ako, parang wala ako nakitang tao doon, kundi ilang nag-jogging, parang wala naman mga ganong restriction, Diego and Angela.
Ay, Jovi, I'd like you to take us through yung, kasi of course alam natin yung Sunbelt states, we have the Blue Wall states, but of course ang sentiment is whoever takes Pennsylvania has 99% chance of winning, but may emerging battleground state which is a swing state sa Ohio, is that right?
Isa sa sinasabing emerging, pero kasi talaga malaki ang numero ng EVs from Pennsylvania. 19, isipin mo kung makuha mo yun, 19 ka na kagad, parang ang laking dagdag doon sa 270 electoral votes needed, electoral college votes para makuha mo agad yung 270 at ikaw yung mag-emerge na winner. Alam mo, katunayan, sinabi ko na ito kay Ed Lingao kahapon, Angelo and Diego, na supposedly, nung Sunday, ay meron na silang closing remarks sa kanilang mga kanya-kanyang kampanya. Kumbaga, yun na yung parang last hurrah nung Sunday. Kaya talagang, nabalita rito lahat ng mga quotable quotes ng dalawang major candidate. Pero today, Monday, maghapon, binalikan nila ang Pennsylvania, pareho sila. In fact, si Vice President Kamala Harris ay nag-focus talaga sa Pennsylvania, saka nagdala siya ng maraming mga artista o kaya celebrities doon, including Oprah, Ricky Martin, Katy Perry, etc. So, ganun ka-importanteng makuha yung Pennsylvania because of the 19 electoral votes.
But how about Jovi, other animal in the room? Of course, North Carolina is equally important. Those two states,
Yes.
Pennsylvania,
Yes,
North
yes.
Carolina. Who has upper hand? Sentiments on the ground.
Before tayo meron, tinignan ko pa din, nag-monitor ako doon sa meron kasi mga local channels dito na pina-flash siya, hanggang ngayon ay sobrang dikit. Diego and Angela, meaning hindi ko man mabibigay na specific in numbers. Kung lamang man halimbawa si Kamala kay Trump sa isang lugar, nandoon nasa realm nung plus minus na 3, di ba? So parang talagang sobrang dikit hanggang ngayong eve of election. Kaya isipin mo, kaya kailangan, kahit na dapat tapusan ng Sunday yung kanilang pangampanya because of their parang valedictory speeches, talagang kinailangan nilang bumalik doon sa mga dapat balikan today
para
for their last
manligaw
chance
pa.
to get some votes.
Last minute na panliligaw, ika nga, di ba? Pero
Yes.
yung gusto ko din tignan din dito, Jovi, yung usapin dyan sa may Michigan. Kasi nasabi nga nila marami doon na Arab-American community na medyo hindi sila pumapabor kay Kamala Harris dahil nga doon sa foreign policy ng Democratic Party. Pero ngayon daw, ang ginagawa ni Kamala Harris ay medyo pumapayag na siya na magkaroon ng ceasefire sa Israel between the Palestinians. Meron bang mga konting pag-swing na rin ngayon sa Michigan towards kay Kamala Harris?
Wala pang parang katulad doon sa Iowa, 'di ba, na binalita talaga rito na parang nag-change ng color from red to blue,
Right.
or the other way around, basta nag-change yung color. Ito wala pa, pero gets ko yung sinasabi mo, Angela, kasi over the weekend talagang binalik-balikan yan ni Vice President Kamala Harris, and yun nga, nagkaroon siya ng maraming dialogue with the Arab Americans. Isa pa sa mga voting bloc dito sa Amerika.
At saka, Jovi, ang understanding ko, malaking bagay ng minority votes this time around. Although in pockets, if you look at them individually, medyo mahina ang numbers. Pero ang sinasabi kasi ng both Republican and Democratic Convention, if you add up all these minority groups together, they form a formidable base that could determine the next president. Ngayon, sa Filipino side, ano ang generic sentiments na nakakausap mo, Jovi?
Ganito, tama yung sinabi mo, Diego, kasi tingnan mo yung parang sa isang dikit na laban, sinasabi ng halos lahat ng mga pollster dito at saka ng mga experts na nagma-magic wall sa kanilang mga TV stations, ayun nga, na parang sa sobrang dikit ng laban, kunin mo na lahat, kahit yung maliliit na mga blocks, kunin mo na yan kasi it will help you eventually pagka tama si Jack pag nabuo nila yan. So let's go to to the Asian Americans. Ang Asian Americans sa mga 20 million or 7% of the voting bloc, Jego and Angela. Pero ang parte dyan ay mga Pilipino na mga 4.2 or 4.1 million yung voting power nila. Number 3 sila doon sa mga voting blocks among Asian Americans na una-una. Diyan syempre yung mga Chinese Americans at saka yung Indian Americans. So, hindi natin masasabi na block sila kasi hindi solido eh. Aminado sila na iba-iba yung kanilang mga binoboto because some of them are parang registered as Republicans or registered yung iba bilang Democrats na nung pinapapaliwanag ko sa mga embassy officials natin because yun yung essence nga naman ng democracy.
Totoo.
Kahit na kayo ay nasa isang pinanggalingan, pwede kayo magkaiba-iba ng leaning, sabi nga nila.
Actually, case in point nga daw dyan, yung halimbawa, yung mas batang voter, let's say, Democratic siya, pero yung parents nila under yung gusto nila sa Republican, maga sila, yung Make America Great Again, diba? Pero tanong namin, lastly, Jovi, kailan ba natin malalaman? Diba, bukas ang eleksyon. Pero how fast can we know kung sino nanalo?
Okay, but before ko sagutin yan, Angela, actually hindi ko lang i-playback ni Carlo ng staff ninyo yung aking report na ginawa ko from Los Angeles. Pero doon makikita at hindi ko na masyado ipapalawan kasi ko ipapalabas naman nila na magkakaiba kahit age bracket magkakapareho, magkakaiba tapos yung mga anak nila iba mga apo iba rin yung gusto So ganun talaga. Now, there's a question kung kailan malalaman. Sinabi ko rin ito kahapon, based doon sa sinasabi ng mga pollster dito at saka ng mga eksperto, ayaw nila hanggat maaari, huwag maulit na umabot ng hanggang weekend, katulad ng Biden versus Trump, ay umabot hanggang weekend, ay hindi pa alam kung sino yung presidente. So sabi nila, mukhang malabo na mangyari ng night of election, although magkakaroon ng forma kahit papano. Pero wag naman daw paabutin ng hanggang weekend para lang malaman.
Yun ang key. Huwag paabutin ng weekend.
Uy, ingat ka dyan, Jovi.
Ingat ka, Jovi.
Oo. At hopefully
Sa weekend, wala na ako dito.
Oo nga. Para
So dapat wala na sa weekend talaga.
Oo, totoo. Pero
Dapat wala
tomorrow,
na sa weekend.
hopefully, we can still talk to you kasi bukas yung madugo dyan.
Yeah. In
Alright.
fact, wala nang tulugan. Talaga, promise yan. Kasi kailangan muna, ang media na magko-cover should be at the polling precincts or sa mga polling centers nila ng maaga. Kung hindi ay masasaraduhan ka doon sa sa mga venue.
Sige, good luck. At
Good
saka
luck, Jovi.
ingat ka dyan, ha? Thank you so much, Jovi Francisco, reporting to us live from Washington, D.C. Kita nyo naman yung background. Fresh na fresh.
So, kasi kung Tuesday night mamaya, that's a Monday night already. So, Wednesday morning, kasagsagan ng that's when the polling precincts will open. Nako, exciting.
Exciting. Tightest race ever daw sa US,
In history.
US election.
So sabi nila,
history.
bring out the popcorn and watch the magic wall.
Tignan natin. Mamaya pag-uusapan pa natin yan. Hindi pa dyan natatapos. Pero syempre, unahin muna natin ang ating countdown for today. Let's start our countdown with a viral SUV that illegally entered the EDSA bus lane. The Land Transportation Office has confirmed that the number 7 protocol plate used by the SUV is fake. Senate President Cheese Escudero was told that the protocol plate was not issued for the type of vehicle seen in the viral video. Escudero earlier aired his suspicion about the legitimacy of the plate since it does not indicate any markings. The number 7 protocol plates are issued exclusively to vehicles of senators. Escudero reminded them that having the plate does not carry the privilege of entering and traversing on lanes exclusively for carousel buses.
Kasi
It's a fake.
Kasi titignan mo yung plaka, is based sa video. Look, yan 7. 'Diba? Pero wala na ibang markings. Usually may stickers yan sa side eh. Tsaka nakalagay yung Senate or ano eh. Pero ito, it just is basic 7 na nakalagay.
Totoo. Dalawa lang naman daw yung ini-issue per ano eh. Like, for example, for one person or one
Yeah,
senator.
oo.
Isang front, isa sa likod.
Kita mo tong passenger, nang bad sign pa, no?
Oo, at saka alam mo, sinasabi ko nga rin kanina, ang masama pa dyan, nilagay pa niya sa panganib yung traffic enforcer.
Or,
Kasi di ba, pinapainto siya, sir, wait lang po, tigil po, ganyan,
Ginagawa lang
diba?
niya trabaho
Tapos
niya.
tinutuloy-tuloy niya yung pag-andar ng sasakyan.
Ginagawa lang naman niya trabaho niya, tapos ganyan kayo.
Oo. So ngayon, antayin natin magkaroon ng show cause order para nga dito sa may-ari na ng sasakyan na to. At sinasabi nga ni Tulfo, 24 lang daw dito sa Pilipinas yung may ganyang sasakyan.
Yes, because there are 24 senators.
Yes. So,
And when you're
no, I mean yung ganyang sasakyan. So it's so easy to
Escalade.
identify kung sino may-ari.
Yeah, that's an Escalade, I think 2016, 2015 model.
Yes.
Oo, so hindi na siya ganun kabago, pero limited ang release
Yes,
sa
so
distribution.
24 lang yan. So madali ma-pinpoint kung
Talaga?
sino
24
yan. Sabi
lang?
daw ni Senator Raffy Tulfo.
Hindi niya yung big sabihin 24 plates.
No, 24.
Okay.
Oo, na may ganyan na sasakyan.
Okay, from another from an issue with cars to another issue on the road. A confrontation about a parking lot at a cemetery in Las Piñas City last Undas went viral. We can see in this video that the woman in pink refuses to leave a parking spot for a white SUV. She was confronted by another woman and told her to leave the parking space for the vehicle. However, her words fell into deaf ears. The woman in pink was eventually removed from the parking space after authorities came. Legally speaking, the woman was not violating any laws since there is no measure preventing parking reservation. However, lawyers said she can face charges for unjust vexations. Actually,
Walang
wala
law, pero parking etiquette, di ba?
Yeah, but legally speaking, anong, kunyari, nagkademandahan
Pero
ka.
sa mall, bawal.
Oo,
Kasi
but
sariling
it's not a
management
law,
naman
but in other
yan.
words, that's a private
Guidelines
management.
nila,
In
oh.
other words, pero if the person complaining about a parking dispute, pwede niyang sabihin, wala naman talagang batas eh. Pero of course, there are certain unwritten laws that we go by that maintains a sense of order in this country, which is etiquette.
Yes, parking
Diba?
etiquette.
Ang dami natin sinusunod na etiquette all over na kailangan natin para just to maintain order. For example, sa mall, di ba? Hindi naman nakasabi sa law bawal sumingit sa line, pero hindi kasi singit sa linya.
Totoo.
Ganun.
Pero yun nga di ba? Parang parking nga ng mga sasakyan, hindi ng tao.
Oo.
Pero in the end, parang ang dinadahilan daw nitong, ewan ko lang kung
PWD
totoo,
daw.
meron daw siyang kasamang PWD at saka senior citizen.
Hindi, kung
Pero sinabi nung nakaaway niya na parang nung umpisa yata ng alitan nila, hindi naman daw sinasabi. Ngayong parang nag-viral na, tsaka pa lang. Yun ang sabi hindi ko alam, hindi ko ba.
Hindi, kasi habang nag-aalita ka, hindi mo naman sasabi na may ano kay. Pero dadalaw kayo sa patay, which is supposed to be solemn. Tapos
activity.
pareho kayong ganyan. Hindi,
Init ulo.
Init
Pero
ulo.
after nung napanood ko yung video, after nung nagpalakpakan yung mga tao nung nakapark na yung sasakyan. yun lang.
Ay, nako.
Mainit yung ulo nila.
Dahil sa parking, nagkagulo ang mga tao.
Diba? Headline mo yun
Ganun ba kahirap ang parking dito na people are...
Well, doon sa... Hindi ko alam kasi kung saang cemetery yan, pero Las Piñas.
Oo.
Diba? Siguro sa dami ng tao, agawan talaga sa parking. Ito nga si Diego, si Tito nyo Diego. Kapag nagpa-parking yan, pag kunyari akit kami sa mall or somewhere na kailangan mag-park, nagdadasal talaga siya sa guardian angel niya. No joke na para bigyan siya ng parking.
Hindi,
Kasi it's really hard.
Tsaka
Totoo
ito,
lang,
tip-
lalo na kapag public place.
Ito guys, tip sa parking, bago tayo mag-move forward. Laging hanapin nyo yung parking space na pinakamalayo within the perimeter, pero pinakamalayo sa entrada ng pupuntahan nyo because
Walang nagpa-park
ang
doon.
ugali po ng Pinoy, walang magpa-park sa malayo. Lahat
Ayaw
sila,
maglakad.
makikita mo ang daming naka-hazard, maghihintay ng
Doon sa
mabakante.
unahan.
Kaysa maghintay sila, hindi sila magpa-park sa bakante sa malayo. So, yan ang technique. Kahit malayo ng konti,
At least naka-park ka na.
Basta may
Basta
parking
maayos
space.
yung parking space. At hindi tayo nangaaway ng mga sa parking.
Ay, naku, mahirap na. Alam mo, nung daming nagbabarila noon na before sa parking, madaming issue.
Parking issue sa sasakyan.
Parking dispute, di ba?
Totoo.
it's not worth it. It's not worth it really. At the end of the day, lahat tayo naman want to park our cars, do our business, and get home to our families. Ba't tayo magsisigawan? At dahil dyan, pumunta na tayo sa sunod.
For our ninth spot, let's head over to Spain. Floods across the country has killed at least 217 people, with dozens of others still unaccounted for. Almost all of the deaths occurred in the Valencia region and more than 60 in the suburb of Paiporta. Some 2,500 more soldiers arrived in flood-hit areas to reinforce efforts to locate bodies and clear debris. The army sent about 5,000 soldiers over the weekend to help distribute food and water. The Spanish government says they would allow severely affected areas to access emergency funds.
Actually,
Grabe yan.
aside from this is terrible news, no? But it's so terrible, hindi ata sanay yung sa ganitong magnitude. Di ba
Ganito, ha, sabi
dumalaw yung
King.
king and queen at saka
Yung monarchy.
tsaka yung PM, di ba? Pagdating doon daw pinagsisipahan yung kotse, pinagbabato ng
Binato
putik.
ng putik sila kasi sinabi daw na
Murder daw sila.
Oo, murder. Hindi daw sila binigyan ng enough time to prepare, kaya maraming mga nasirang sasakyan at maraming
namatay.
mga namatay. Pero yun nga, sabi naman nila dito, when I was reading about it, hindi naman na sila, kumbaga, hindi common na sa kanila itong mga pagbaha. It's just that this is really severe dahil nga dun sa, yung global warming, pinag-uusapan natin yan yesterday, yung climate change.
Mag-escalate na yung
Umiinit, di ba? Umiinit dyan sa may, yung rising temperature dyan sa may Mediterranean Sea. That's why ganito yung nangyayari sa mga flooding dyan sa area.
And we all know when temperature rises sa sea, lumalakas ang bagyo because more energy, more heat, more energy.
Moisture.
For the storm.
Yan yung basic precipitation, di ba? Sa science,
Hindi
ng
ko alam.
grade school, pinag-aaralan yan.
Moisture na lang.
Moisture na lang. Pero ito ha, sige, let's talk about another, yung tropical storm here.
Yeah,
dito sa
severe.
atin.
This is about severe tropical storm Marcy, which is now nearing typhoon category. So now, Typhoon Marcy was last spotted 735 kilometers east of Baler, Aurora. Marcy packs maximum winds of 110 kilometers per hour and gustiness of up to 135 kph. Now, it may take landfall over Babuyan Islands or mainland Cagayan on Thursday or Friday. The severe tropical storm is expected to reach typhoon category today. Tropical cyclone wind signal number 1 is up over Batanes and Cagayan, as well as in northern and eastern portions of Isabela and northern portion of Ilocos Norte. So yan ang update dyan because madami nagtatanong kailan matapapasok si Marce.
Nandito na siya, pero hindi pa siya naglalandfall.
Hindi, yung mga iba kasi hindi nila alam i-interpret yung actual press cons ng Pag-asa. So we're making it clear for them when to actually expect it. Tsaka lilinaw ng mga ibang media outlets and Pag-asa as well as us yung difference ng rainfall warning sa wind signal.
Totoo. At sinasabi nga din naman ng Pag-asa dun sa ibang mga weather bulletins na nilalabas nila, especially during severe tropical storm Christine, tapos kay Leon. Sinasabi nila doon na minsan may mga kahit walang signal warning, sinasabi nila, may malakas pa rin ang pag-ulan na kasama to kahit walang signal warning. Yun yung mga ibang mga sa weather bulletin na nire-release nila. Kasi di ba may mga issues din nga na sinasabi, like most specifically itong si Senator Amy Marcos na parang sinisisi niya yung Pag-asa na hindi daw naibibigay ng maayos yung weather reports.
Yes.
Yun ang kanyang concern. Pero 'di ba tayo pinag-uusapan natin, feeling natin yung pagbibigay ng weather report from Pag-asa walang problema. Yung bringing it down, 'di ba?
To the ground.
Down to the ground, yun yung nagiging problema. Alright, sige, coming up. President Marcos responds to criticisms over his administration's flood control projects.
And House Speaker Martin Romualdez defends a congressional probe into the controversial drug war. This is the Quadcom.
Sige. Marami pa tayong pag-uusapan. Ang ating brunch for today ay ube cheese pandesal na unang sumikat nung pandemic. Baka meron pa kayong trivia regarding this. Feel free to write it down sa ating
Alam mo ba ang
section.
ube pandesal, may ube at may cheese?
Oh, wow! Pero alright, we are just getting started mga kapatid. More of our top 10 news when brunch returns. Keep it here on One News.
Wow.
still watching Brunch here on One News. Yun nga po, busy tayo ngayon dahil sa mga kaganapan dyan sa US
So,
elections.
sobrang busy, nakalimutan ko mag-log on sa Facebook.
Wait, batiin ko lang to.
Paano panitawa?
Ano ba?
Oo.
Ito, dito po sa YouTube natin, we have, of course, our usual suspects. Si Geraldine Balolo.
Oy,
Yun
oo.
yung si Geraldine Balolo.
Yeah.
She watches pa all the way from Bukidnon. Si Julie Dump, si Elmo Cardenas, nanonood din siya all the way from Montalban, Rizal. Si Daisy Cancio, Tito
Of course,
Naldi,
Tita Daisy,
and
Tito Naldi.
Nito,
Good
yan,
morning,
nanonood
good
sa
morning.
atin. Renato Nieto, yan, meron din siyang comment about the US election. Si Oscar, si Gary Co, si Ronald Maxtel.
Gary
yan
Field.
yung mga, natin, YouTube viewers.
Tapos we have Gary Field.
Punta ka sa Facebook, you have Gary Field.
Sam Pokemon
Sam
Go.
Pokemon Go.
Ralph
You have-
Domingo.
Yes. You have
Mig Zebron.
Mig Zebron. You have VJ, si Vladimir Ponce de Leon Jr. Si, si Ringo, si Ate Ringo. Tapos si Marisol. Sino pa ba? Si Minya Benales, nandoon siya. Si Jamie Barcelano, nandoon din siya. At saka si Angela Make Alitaw. At saka si Bambi Gadi Baron. Alex Fuentes.
John Paul and George. And Ringo.
Kasi Beatles. Okay, sige. Let's continue with our countdown. Coming in at our top 7 is the Armed Forces. Our military has kicked off their annual exercise called Dagit Pa. The term Dagit Pa is a combination of the Filipino words Dagat, Langit, at Lupa. The exercise aims to train soldiers in territorial defense on different platforms. More than 3,000 all-Filipino personnel are expected to take part in the 10-day drill.
Our mission today is very clear: to prepare ourselves comprehensively to respond to any external threats that might challenge our sovereignty. This year's exercise will adopt an operationally focused framework enabling us to simulate our territorial defense plan, Bantay Kalayaan.
Uy, aside dun sa mga exercises na nabanggit dyan, may nakita kasi ako dito na maganda. Yung mga training exercises, may field exercises, tapos meron sila yung cyber warfare exercise. Okay yan, di ba? Kasi sa mga nangyayari ngayon, yung mga, bakit ka tumatawa?
Kala ko
Bakit sabihin ko?
Biglang
Hindi, inad ko lang naman siya.
naglalaglag ka
Okay, sige, let's continue with our countdown.
Sizzling at the 6th spot is the Office of the Vice President. A House committee has requested the Justice Department to issue a lookout bulletin against OVP 7 officials. These are Chief of Staff Zuleika Lopez, Assistant Chief of Staff and Bids and Awards Committee Chair Lemuel Ortoño, Administrative and Financial Services Director Rosalyn Sanchez, Special Disbursing Officer Gina Acosta, and Chief Accountant Julieta Villa del Rey. Also included in the list are former Education Assistant Secretary Sunshine Chari Fahara and her husband Edward Fajarda. An individual under the lookout bulletin will not be prevented from leaving the country. However, authorities will be notified once they fly out of the Philippines. House Committee on Good Government Chair Representative Joel Chua said these officials are crucial to the investigation on Vice President Sara Duterte's alleged misuse of funds.
There are some who are trying to leave the country. So, as to kung sino, hindi naman na-divulge yung mga name. But, syempre, ayaw naman nating baka mamaya, kagaya nangyari kay Mayor Alice Guo, nasa lisihan tayo.
Chua is inviting these officials again to attend their hearing. If they still choose to skip the hearing, the committee will file a motion to cite them in contempt.
Baka mamaya may mag-motion to cite them in contempt. So, we will be forced to cite them in contempt. So, pag may contempt, so paano natin i-contempt yung tao na wala naman dito? At hindi natin alam yung location or whereabouts.
Tsaka sabi I remember yung few weeks ago, nung may Quadcom hearing pa, sabi ni Kong Dan Fernandez, medyo puno na daw yung detention facility ng Batasan. So, riniremand nila yung mga tao sa mga iba-ibang correctional institutions or jail, di ba? Yung to hold them. Kasi they don't fit in punong-puno
Hindi
na daw
kasya,
sila. Hindi na
ganun.
daw
Ilan ba
kasya.
yung detention
Hindi ko alam.
facility
It's
dyan
not
sa
so big,
Congress?
pero ang alam ko kasi as long as there are certain hearings in different committees going on, yung mga naka-contempt will still remain in that
Yes,
facility
oo.
until matapos with resolution ng each committee
Unless
hearing.
may kaso na sila, tapos may arrest order para pwede sila dun sa mga respective na jail natin, places. Pero
Hindi,
otherwise...
that comes from the court.
Yes,
pero
yun
yung,
nga sinasabi
yung
ko
contempt order naman is from the committees
Kaya
mismo.
nga unless, kasi ngayon nandiyan dyan sila, wala silang ibang pwedeng paglagakan. Yun. Pero itong 7 officials ng
7 officials
DepEd din
of the
kasi-
OVP.
Oo,
Oo.
hindi kasi sila umaattend nga nitong hearing. So hopefully, by doing this, ito naman ILBO to di ba? Immigration
ILBO.
Lookout Bulletin.
It doesn't
Hindi
mean na, malinaw, it doesn't mean hindi pwede lumabas.
hindi naman ito yung hold departure order
In other words,
or HDO na tinatawag.
Itatrack ka lang kung saan ka pumunta, saan ang exit point
Kung
mo.
lumabas ka ba.
And then we will notify the country of their kung arrival area nila. Ino-notify natin na kung pumasok nga doon. So their immigration will also take a look kung mag-exit sila tapos magpiping sa atin. Pero they're allowed to
naman
leave.
din yun
They're
Kung
allowed to
mamaya
leave.
i-cite in contempt, hindi na naman umaten, i-cite mo in contempt, wala na pala dito sa Pilipinas.
And this,
So,
binabaliwala na ng ibang tao yung mga
yung
contempt order na yun.
at saka
Oo.
yung mga hearings. So,
Oo.
kailan ba ra-wrap up ang hearings sila? Hindi pa natin alam.
Hindi
no?
pa natin alam.
Sige. Alright, sige, let's continue with our countdown. On our top 5 is Donald Trump. The Republican presidential nominee calls for death penalty for migrants who will kill Americans. In a speech during a campaign rally in Reading, Pennsylvania, Trump vowed to invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. He said he will, quote, launch the largest deportation program of criminals in American history. Trump is due to campaign in Pittsburgh and Grand Rapids in Michigan and return to Palm Beach, Florida to vote.
And I will launch the largest deportation program of criminals in American history. We're going to get them out. We have to. And I'm hereby calling for the death penalty for any migrant that kills an American citizen or a law enforcement officer.
Pero mahirap yan if kunyari natuloy siya.
Buti hindi siya gumaganon.
Mahirap yan kasi each state has their own
Yes.
interpretations and laws on the death penalty.
Yes.
And may mga certain questions about yung methods of death penalty na has been proven na hindi humane.
Yes.
Kasi
And
kailangan
it has
daw
to pass by the Congress pa rin yung mga nila.
hindi na per court na 'yon,
Yes.
per state na 'yon. So
per state.
oo, 'yun. Pero that's on his agenda. Pero it's very because not most Republicans are for the death penalty. Most of them are trying to move on to different things already.
Mas
oo.
conservative nga kasi ang
Mas
Republican.
oo.
Ayaw nga nila ng divorce. Tapos ito may death
Ayaw niya-
penalty. Divorce, abortion.
Divorce and abortion ayaw ng doon yung Republican. That's why they have the Christian Catholic vote. Okay, let's move.
siya kasi si Trump siya yung kanyang ang tawag din election campaign is always MAGA, tawag nila MAGA.
MAGA.
MAGA, no?
Make America
Great
Great Again. Oo.
Okay, sige, let's continue with our countdown.
Our fourth spot now goes to Vice President Kamala Harris. The Democratic presidential candidate campaigned in Pennsylvania a day before the elections. She went to the city of Reading, the area in Pennsylvania with a large concentration of Puerto Ricans. Harris visited a restaurant and talked to some residents. Pennsylvania is considered as a crucial state in this year's elections. Some experts say the candidate who will win the state will be the next U.S. president. Pennsylvania previously went blue in the 2020 elections and gave its 19 electoral votes to eventual President Joe Biden.
Ayan yung pinag-uusapan natin kanina with Jovi, di ba?
Yes.
Mga few last-minute campaigns na supposedly dapat yung mga ganitong panahon nandun na sila sa mga headquarters nila, di ba? Ngayon talaga tuloy-tuloy yung mga last-minute na panliligaw nila, lalo na to dito sa Pennsylvania.
Now, Pennsylvania
Very important.
is part of the Blue Wall states. It's Pennsylvania, Michigan, I forgot the other one. No? And historically, when one votes for blue, the rest votes for blue. When one votes for red, they all vote for red. Bihira sila nagkakaiba ng vote. So ang crucial dito is to see kasi minsan depends minsan sa election kasi hinuhuli nila ang Pennsylvania and Ohio. They release the results later on. Papatakbuhin mo nila ibang counting. So kung mauuna natin daw makikita ang Michigan na magiging blue, most likely than not Pennsylvania will turn out to be blue because it's very rare. But what's crucial to look at is yung difference ng points. Tied sila sa Pennsylvania at 49%. Pero Harris is up by 3 percentage points sa Michigan, which is also a tie. But to see the difference, 3 percentage points in those two states, meaning they might vote independently.
Ang Michigan is 15 electoral votes ang kailangan. Ang Pennsylvania 19, tama ba?
Pero mas crucial ang
Ang Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania
Of course, bigger kasi siya
kahit hindi pero it's a swing state that's crucial
Yes.
in combination before we move on to with North Carolina.
Okay, sige. Usapin pa rin tayo ng US election. Ito na, para sa ating top 3. On our top 3, U.S. presidential candidates Kamala Harris and Donald Trump are holding rallies on the campaign's final day. But what do our kababayans in America have to say? Let's find out in this report by Jovi Francisco.
Mention a state in the U.S. and most probably a Filipino resides there. But the largest concentration of Filipino Americans can be found in the state of California. And in Los Angeles, there's even an area called the Historic Filipino Town, a place where migrant Filipinos started chasing their American dream in the 1920s. Nowadays, the area is known for establishments owned by PhilAms. And at the center of it all, an activity venue for the Filipino-American community of Los Angeles or FACLA. We visited the place days before the U.S. elections. Surprisingly, there was no election-related town hall meeting, but there was dancing. The senior members of the community were quick to explain that they can have fun on the dance floor because they already voted by mail. Like Mrs. Evangeline Carvajal.
I'm always a Democrat.
You are, okay.
Yeah, I'm very proud to say because I researched everything, studied everything,
Yeah.
and with our culture in the Philippines, I know where to stand.
Yeah.
You know,
So, you're more inclined to support the Democrats.
of course, and a female president.
Yeah.
The first time to be, we gonna have a female president. Yes, I assure you.
Mrs. Eufemia Nieva, on the other hand, voted for former U.S. President Donald Trump.
People can always change. May mga good side kasi tsaka bad side ang Democratic tsaka ano. Pero we are mostly for me, I mean my community as a Christian is we tend to we less evil. Abortion? Hindi. Now I really don't. That's why. That's why my heart is with Republican because you're not supposed to be like that. God is not happy with that.
But the most senior member of the group, Mr. Jerry Dulay, declared he's not keen on voting Trump or Kamala.
Kasi hindi na gaya nung araw, mga presidente, kagaya sila Obama, sila Reagan. I don't care kung Republican man o independent, basta ang inano ko, ang kanilang sinasabi sa eleksyon. Wala, kasi independent ako, wala akong party.
The most recent census showed the population of Filipino Americans has reached 4.2 million. Almost 3 million PhilAms are registered voters. They are among the biggest Asian American groups, ranked third after the Chinese Americans and Indian Americans. When combined, there are 20 million Asian Americans spread all over the USA. That's 7% of the US population, a number enough to affect elections. But Asian Americans, including PhilAms, don't vote as a solid bloc because like most Americans, some are registered Republicans while some are Democrats.
Oo, very critical kasi yung Asian vote na yan. Pero yung sa Philippines, kaya sinasabi nila yung mga Pinoy hindi daw as blocks. It depends kasi kung yung age mo, if you grew up in the States, pinanganak ka sa States, nag-migrate ka from the Philippines, tapos nagsimula ka doon, madaming factors.
Oh, di ba kanina nabanggit ko nga,
Madaming
merong
factors.
pa pwede yung generation ngayon, yung mas bata ay
More
Democratic
democratic,
Party.
oo.
Pero yung mga magulang nila na dito, mga nag-migrate lang sa US, ay yan yung mga maka-Republican dahil Make America Great Again yung mga gusto nila. Pero yun nga, ang tanong dyan, if manalo si Kamala Harris, ano ba yung dapat natin asahan dito sa Pilipinas? And the other hand, ganun din. Kung manalo si Donald Trump, ano ulit ba? What was the foreign policy during the presidency of
Actually,
Donald Trump?
sa US kasi technically very minor ang shifts in foreign policy. There are certain directives from the president that may change, like towards attitude towards war,
Yes,
supporting
yes.
other nations, diba? But towards the Philippines, if you take a look at both
Parang-
parties, there will be a
Yes.
very minimal change, no? It's because we still enjoy yung mutual defense treaty with the US.
Yes.
Regardless kung sino ang presidente, that treaty is in place. Ngayon, ang interpretation ng treaty would be different according to President. Some will say the Republicans have a higher chance of spending more in the Asian region than the Democrats. So the Democrats have been geared towards usually the Middle Eastern side naman. So but we will see kasi ika nga, it was pointed out by political analysts that si Harris visited the Philippines
Yes.
as Vice President.
Yes.
Oo.
Oo.
So let's wait and see, but very minor shifts in policy. Oo.
Yun nga, tapos yung nakita natin kanina sa report ni Joey, ang kukit ng mga matatanda doon. Talagang may kanya-kanya silang mga gustong iboto, and which is understandable naman. So, yun nga, ano bang epekto nito sa atin? Both economically, di ba? Yung usapin din ng trade, di ba? Security, ano pa. Of
Tsaka
course, ang dami nating
isa pa
mga
yung
Pilipino sa Amerika.
pinakamalaking factor dyan, yung mass deportation.
Yes.
So kung may kamag-anak ka dyan, kasi one way usually mga ginagawa ng kamag-anak, yung mga kababayan natin is, may mga iba nag-TNT kasi nag-lapse yung tourist visa nila while they're trying to apply. Hindi nila nakuha yung application for immigration, nag-lapse ang visa nila, nagiging TNT. Di ba si Trump vowed na those who are illegally inside the US will be all deported.
Oo.
Regardless. So, let's see ano yung magiging
Ano yung
policies.
maging
Whoever
translation
wins.
ng votes, ano?
Whoever wins, let's see kung ano yung magiging policy. Malalaman natin in just a few days actually.
Exactly.
Oo.
Okay.
Alright, don't go away. We're not done yet. May dalawa pa. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're still watching Brunch here on The One News. Good morning sa mga
Yan, no?
viewers. Bika na magbasa.
Ako na, si Bambi Gadi Baron, saka si Yasushi Aray, mga bago yan, ha?
Uy, Bambi Gadi, she used to work with my, if that's Bambi Gadi, she used to work with my mom sa
Talaga?
office nila. Oo. Parang,
Hindi, go lang, go! Go!
parang she was an assistant to my mom. She was
That's
a younger
nice.
one. Oh, I remember her.
Si Josephine Viola, sabi niya, love this husband and wife tandem of two angels. Si Gary ko, may punto siya. Sabi niya, have a nice day. Whoever wins naman, Trump or Harris, andyan pa rin naman ang US
Oo,
sa Pilipinas.
the US will always be there. It's just a matter of how much aid will be sent and what form of the aid.
How fast
and
the
how
aid
fast the
will
aid,
be
oo.
sent.
Oo.
Sige, let's continue with our countdown.
Going straight to our top two, President Bongbong Marcos says flood controls are there, but we're just simply overwhelmed. That comes amid criticisms that followed massive floodings as tropical cyclones lashed parts of the country. The Senate, for one, is looking to investigate the administration's flood control projects. But the chief executive insisted the lack of infrastructure wasn't entirely to blame.
Maraming nagsasabi, nababasa ko sa dyaryo, nababasa ko, naririnig ko sa radyo, television, nasa ng mga flood control. Nandyan ang mga flood control, na-overwhelm lang.
No, di wala ngayong flood control.
Wala. Hindi kasi syempre, alam mo naman ng mga Pilipino, laging may resibo. Naalala mo nung SONA niya, nung last SONA niya nung July, at pinalakpakan pa ng mga congressman, mga politiko na nasa loob ng batasan habang siya ay nagsusona. Sinabi niya, yung isa sa mga nireport niya sa bayan ay 5,500 flood control
Yes,
projects have been, 'di ba? Sabi niya, have been implemented. So, syempre, yung mga have been completed, rather. So, syempre, yung mga kababayan natin, tinatanong, asan na?
Pare, mostly kasi these projects are in the metro, no? Pero ang tanong ko is, paano yung mga projects sa mga perennial flooding areas like Bulacan? Di ba, grabe yan. Sa northern areas na bumababa from the mountains, na from the watersheds, paano mo i-control yan? Number two, how do you deal with yung impending trash issues? Kasi kung wala kang adequate trash control sa Philippines, yung mga kababayan natin, anong madali, itatapon na lang kung saan-saan. So alam mo naman ang mangyayari pag nag-flood, 'di ba? Imbis na yung humupa ka agad yung water, kasi the goal here, we are a country that is below sea level. The goal here is really as much as possible, kahit magkabaha, humupa siya agad. Quickly. Pero
walang mamamatay, di ba?
may inadequacy ka of flood control projects, meron ka pang trash problem. Yung trash problem, admittedly, kasi, that's all of us our fault.
Then you see all of these structures like yung mga bridges, di ba, during itong ang onslaught ni severe tropical storm Christine at saka ni Leon, yung mga bridges nakikita mo na talagang nagtanggalan, tapos makikita mo yung pinaka-foundation, wala pala, walang mga bakal. So, yan, isa yan sa mga nakikita rin, of course, ng mga Pilipino na nasaan na. Kaya sinisingil ngayon. So, ngayon, sinasabi rin ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos, isa sa mga flood mitigating steps nila would be kapag may banta ng bagyo, mag-release na ng maaga sa mga dams.
Correct.
Para hindi ito mag-apaw kaagad. Yung isa sa mga naiisip niya na pwede daw
Gradual
gawin.
release right away.
Which is, pwede naman yun.
Oo. Gradual release of water. Ang problem nito is about the areas that are not dependent on whether a dam releases water or not. Kasi may mga flood-prone areas na kaya may dam o wala, di ba? Nagpa-flood siya. Ano pa yung isang storm surge? Di ba? Pag nag-storm surge, yun. Very unpredictable kasi ang weather talaga ngayon.
Tapos yun nga, di ba, yung mga classrooms natin, isa yan sa mga laging naapektuhan ng bagyo. Kung hindi ginagawang evacuation center, kasama din talaga sa nababaha at nasisira dahil nga sa malakas na bagyo.
Basta I agree with some of the pundits saying we need better infrastructure.
Totoo.
Hindi natin may iwasan magkakabaha tayo. Basta the goal is to minimize the height of the flood. Number two is to make sure that the flood quickly dissipates, 'di ba? Yun lang naman.
Saka dapat yun nga, 'di ba, yung nabanggit ko rin kahapon. Let's take this situation, itong weather pattern natin, na ganito na talaga siya, na pag sinabi na malakas ang ulan, talagang expect mo na malakas ang ulan. At mas grabe pa. Dahil nga dun sa mga rising temperature, mga climate change na nangyayari sa atin. Okay, sige, let's continue with our countdown. Ito na. Coming back to the top spot is the drug war. President Bongbong Marcos still refuses to comment about his predecessor's statements about his war on drugs campaign. Meanwhile, House Speaker Martin Romualdez defended the Congress's probe into the controversial anti-drug problem. Here's a report.
I don't want to talk about it. This is what President Bongbong Marcos told reporters when asked about former President Rodrigo Duterte. His predecessor made headlines last week for his defense about the controversial war on drugs under his administration. In a Senate hearing, Duterte also admitted to senators that he had a death squad when he was the mayor of Davao City. But for President Marcos, he wants to focus on the aftermath of severe tropical storm Christine in the province of Batangas.
I don't want to talk about. I need to talk about what's happened here. At nakita naman ninyo kung gaano kalaki ang naging sira sa infrastructure.
The president was also mum about Vice President Sara Duterte's attacks against him. House Speaker Martin Romualdez defended the Congress for investigating various issues linked to the Duterte family. These include the patriarch's bloody war on drugs and Vice President Sara Duterte's spending of confidential funds. He said they are on the right side of history.
This House of the People, we are on the right side of history. And make no mistake, no matter the challenges, no matter the opposition, we will stand our ground. Sa mga nagtatangka, napigilan tayo sa paghanap ng katotohanan at katarungan, isa lamang ang sasabihin ko sa inyo, hindi kayo magtatagumpay sa masamang hangarin ninyo.
Romualdez also commended the House Quadcom and the so-called young guns of the Congress for their continuous investigation of alleged extrajudicial killings under the Duterte administration.
Dahil unti-unti na natin nakikita ang liwanag at katotohanan, asahan natin na lalo pang titindi ang pag-atake sa ating institusyon, subalit hindi tayo matitinag. Hindi tayo papayag na muling bumalik ang panahon ng kadiliman at kasamaan.
In the return of the session in the House yesterday, several bills were filed, including the Anti-Extrajudicial Killing Act and the Anti-Offshore Gaming Operations Act.
Narinig mo yung ano
Kadiliman at kasamaan.
Ayun, yung
Naalala ko
speaker.
si,
Diba?
Attorney Harry Roque.
That's a statement aimed at Harry Roque. Kasi he said, di ba sa isang rally, sinabi ata yan,
Yes, oo.
kamali sila.
Yung rally ata yun yung dahil kay
Sa
Kibuloy.
EDSA, yeah, tapos kadiliman, kasamaan. Ay, hindi. Mali, sabi ni
Joke.
former spokes Harry Roque.
Oo.
Oo,
Pero yan,
pero yan-
continuous yung magiging nila hearing eh.
Yeah,
Pag-
may tuloy-tuloy pa naman ang anti-drug program ng PBBM admin. Iba lang na ang approach, di ba?
I think yung magiging pangalan, no, if I can remember it correctly, yung batas na gagawin nila, yung fina-file nila ng resolution, ay tungkol sa EJK, is Kian Law. Kasi
Ito
based
ata-
kay Kian de los Santos, di ba? Yung namatay under
Yeah, oo.
drug
Ito
law.
ata yung stiffer penalties for those
Heinous
proven
crimes ang EJK.
involved in EJK. Si Kian, if you remember, was accused of being a drug addict, drug user na nanglaban.
Pero
But-
it turned out,
Kasi,
nagagawa lang pala siya ng
I think fortune or di ba tinignan nila yung how he died daw supposedly nakaluhod with a gun
So, hindi siya
to the
naglaban.
back. So parang paano ka maglalaban if you were based sa trajectory ng bala is you were at a low level so yung gun was pointed down, meaning na-execute ka.
Oh, siya ba yun, if I remember it
Sinasabi
correctly,
nila
siya rin
yung-
yung nagsabi ng uuwi pa siya, gagawa pa siya ng assignment, something like that.
Tapos yung daddy niya, ang sinasabi nila, mga siga daw sila sa area nila. Tapos sinasabi nila yung daddy sa drug dealer. Pero hindi naman daw. Oo, sabi niya kilala sila sa area kasi yung daddy nila medyo siga but hindi sila engaged in illegal activities. Yan ang pinupunto ng mga ibang tao. So hindi nila alam bakit na point sila as drug suspect sa area.
Okay, mahaba-haba pa yung hearing na ginagawa ng Congress, yung kanilang Quadcom hearing, kasi meron pa sila dyan na hindi pa nila masyado na i-explore yung doon sa Anti-Money Laundering Council na hihingi sila ng tulong dito
Yes.
sa AMLAC dahil nga doon sa supposedly or allegedly na reward system na kung saan-saan nanggagaling yung pera. 'Di ba? Aside from ang sinasabi nila, nakikita nilang paraan ay confidential or intelligence fund, meron din yung mga galing sa mga illegal pogos, 'di ba? Etc. So yan, isa pa yan sa mga titignan nila. And kung a-attend pa rin, usapin pa rin si Pangulong former President Rodrigo Duterte doon sa kanilang hearing.
But they're in a rush already kasi malapit na mag-debate sa budget. Oo, kasi next year...
By-cam na yun eh.
Oo, tas next year, election
Midterm
na.
election
Oo.
na.
Mag-iiba
So,
po
kailangan
ang hulma ng upper and lower house after this election. So, kung ano man yung mga advocacy ng mga congressmen and senators, they have to get it done daw before the year ends because next year, medyong mobalab na daw
Campaign
yan.
mode na yung iba dun
Campaign mode. They won't make any controversial decisions that may affect their political base.
Oo, yung pagboto ng tao sa kanila.
Usually, budget na lang yan, di ba, little things. Pero yung mga controversial bills, wala na yan. Back burner na yan. And ipapaubay nila sa next Congress na yan. Oo. Malaki ang pagkakaiba ng hulma niyan. Looking at the lineup. Yun.
Okay, sige, abangan po ninyo bukas. Meron tayong special coverage dito, no? Ng US election. Dahil nga, yun yung pinag-uusapan natin, the tightest race ever ng US election history.
Kala ko may phone-in guest tayo with Trump and Harris.
Ay, hindi. Busy yun sila, busy. Oh.
Text ko sila mamaya. Hindi, tomorrow, that's of course a brunch that starts at 10 o'clock tomorrow. So abangan nila yan.
Yes.
As we all know, the polls will be opening later tonight.
Yes.
Philippines later tonight, which is early morning sa
Ang
US.
dami natin napapanood ng mga possibilities. Diba? Possibility na hindi nila parehas maabot yung 270 required na
1%
electoral
chance,
vote.
but it's still there.
It's still there. It's still a possibility. And what happens next then kung yun ay mangyari?
And lastly, before we go, sabi nila, it all depends ano yung gising ng isang voter. Kahit Democratic o Republican pa yan.
Minsan nagbabago pa
Pag
sila.
nagising daw yan, minsan this has played a part before in some surveys. May mga gumigising Democrats o Republican na gutom. dahil walang pera pumasok sa sweldo niya, sinisi niya ang gobyerno, iba ang binoto
Iba
niya.
binoto niya.
Totoo, that has happened sa several surveys.
At saka we will see also, kasi alam naman natin, itong si Kamala Harris ay maraming mga artista, Hollywood A-listers talaga, yung mga sumusuporta sa kanya. At minsan
Just like-
sumasali pa sa campaign rally.
Just like Hillary Clinton.
Yes, so
But-
ngayon, ang question dyan, will it translate
Oo.
sa boto?
But alam mo, before we go, no, there were several videos that came out also na kinakastigate nila yung mga celebrities supporting certain candidates. Parang sinasabi, at the end of the day, you celebrities have your butlers, you have your money, you have your transportation. We have maxed out credit cards. We don't have we go by paycheck to paycheck. We don't have tuition for our children. So please, parang shut up na lang kayo. Let us vote on our own.
Parang dito sa di
No,
ba?
parang-
Pasikatan. Pero doon kasi electoral college
Oo,
ang nila.
malaking bagay. So yan, abangan natin tomorrow. And that wraps up today's episode of Brunch. Join us again tomorrow.
Sige,
He's Angela Lagunsag Castro.
Kala mo He's Angelo Castro III. We are One News, all sides, all the time.